Welcome to Press Talk on Television Nigerian. I'm Daniel Atai, and today we'll be discussing the sudden judgment of the Court of Appeal yesterday as Oshomole gets stay of execution as national chairman of the All Progressive Congress. Before the Court of Appeal judgment on execution of stay, a High Court order yesterday, the 16th of March 2020, earlier ordered that the acting national secretary of the APC, Victor Giadom, to act as in the capacity of the national chairman, and perhaps to ensure he presides over the proposed NEC meeting slated for Tuesday, 17th, 2020, which is today. But in what seems like a quick but timely verdict, we saw the Court of Appeal reconvened same yesterday after the order of the High Court that gave Victor Giadom the go-ahead to act as the acting chairman of the national acting chairman of the APC, to nullify the High Court order at the same time order the stay of execution for the national chairman, Comrade Adams Oshomole. The second thing we'll discuss today will be the coronavirus scare, whether Nigeria should ban foreign trip. This is spectacle. This is Press Talk on TVN, and with me in the studio are two gentlemen, two renowned journalists. By my right is Comrade Silvanus Okpe, and by my left is Victor Tehemba. Both of them are ace journalists. Welcome to Press Talk, gentlemen. We'll take a quick break, just a quick break, and when we come back, we'll begin to discuss and analyze the issue. Stay tuned.
Is it the stories? Is it the wildlife? Is it the people? Daybreak Africa. News across Africa.
Welcome back. This is still Press Talk on Television Nigerian, and I'll start with you, Comrade Silvanus. Like I introduced the topic yesterday, in what seems like a drama, a sudden drama, after the High Court judgment that empowered Victor Giadom to act as the All Progressive Congress National Chairman. A sudden reconvene of the party, of the Court of Appeal judges. In the morning they were at the court, and then they said they adjourned the evening, where they actually waiting for I don't know, for the High Court to act first before they nullify the High Court. And how come this, can I say, conflicting judgment and sudden happening event that transpired yesterday had to be that way from the Nigerian judiciary? What is your take, first of all?
Well, it can be gleaned from what transpired yesterday, from the meeting of the APC the chairman of APC Governors Forum, Bagodu, and President Muhammadu Buhari, plus the meeting of Oshomole and the Chief of Staff, and other chain of events that happened yesterday, that the politicians in Nigeria have hijacked the judiciary. The independence of the judiciary in Nigeria is under threat. And it is high time that we stood as a people to discourage this incursion of power brokers in all the paraphernalia of democracy. If you followed the events of yesterday, the appeal court adjourned indefinitely in the morning. But immediately, Buhari spoke, cancelling the next meeting that was scheduled to hold today. We saw in what has never happened in the legal profession, in the world, in Nigeria, the Court of Appeal reconvening immediately and passing a decision. One of the decisions was to order for a stay of execution of the High Court judgment sitting in Jabi, which restrained Oshomole from parading himself as the national chairman of APC. What we can see from this is that there are external factors. There are external factors that propel most of the decisions that come from our court. And it is not healthy for our democracy. Because the court, as an arm of government, the judiciary, should be independent and should be able to decide, take decision on cases without fear nor favor. But in cases such as...
But have we not been clamoring for quick judgment and verdicts from our judiciary?
Do we have quick judgments and verdicts on cases appertaining to me and you? Or is it just in cases of politicians, the national chairman of APC, the court is suddenly alive to its responsibility?
I think it's a process.
And joining from morning to evening, not even till next year.
But it is a process, isn't it? It's a process now.
It is, but the chain of events, coupled with the speedy decision of the court, are all pointers to the fact that external factors played a huge role in the decision of the Court of Appeal yesterday.
All right, thank you. I'll come back to you. Mr. Victor, Oshomole remains the chairman of the All Progressive Congress. Was it a surprise to you?
No, I think it wouldn't be a surprise to people who are not following events or who have not been following events in this country, basically because but I think for people who really follow the events know for a fact that there is no way Adams was going to be removed as national chairman of APC.
Okay.
And just to pick a few things from what he said, I could understand his concern about the fact that some politicians are interfering in the judicial process, and I would be naive to think otherwise. But at the same time, as a lawyer, I think he also understands that there are situations, there are times when sometimes discussions go behind. Okay, the court might have adjourned indefinitely. It was given indefinitely because of some certain issues that happened that they did not have full information.
And the word indefinitely, yes, it means it could be recalled even anytime.
Yes, and the reason why they used indefinitely was because they did not have full information for them to make a decision to say, okay, maybe we are going to reconvene next week or the upper week. And he understands as a lawyer that sometimes parties to a particular case can go ahead, meet a judge and discuss that, see, this issue that we adjourned to this time, we are ready to discuss about this time. Can we please reconvene at this time? So if the judge sees reasons to this discussion agreement, then he can say, okay, fine, let us reconvene in the evening. And also I think that is what happened. But at the same time, I'm not going to rule out the fact that some buttons were pressed somewhere and then some people responded to the buttons. But at the same time, I think this is just what happened. Just
last week, I begin from you in the second question. Just last week, the national leader of the All Progressive Congress, talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, came out and said that those who want Oshomole out, they are suffering from coronavirus. And we can see in his capacity and his intervention, coupled with that of the president, Oshomole remained the national chairman of the APC. Do you think that it is coincidence that happened, or it is their interference that made it so?
Well, basically, we all know that it is their interference for them to have come out and then join forces or join support behind the APC, the former, now present APC chairman, that made everything possible that he still remains as the APC chairman. Now we know that a lot of people, the only people that had never had his back are the state governors that had never really had his back, maybe some few other ministers, but we know that the people that really mattered in the scheme of things when it comes to APC, including the president, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whoever it is that is at that top echelon of the party really had Oshomole's back. And then from that letter or article, you find that he released. I like the fact that he used the less than coronavirus team concept to really lay out his point, and then I think they were all this important. And then you see the tacit support that he was actually giving to Oshomole, and then we know that this is how it was actually going to turn out, that Oshomole was going to remain the APC chairman.
That's good. The coronavirus statement against the scheme for 2023, could you say it has been now justified or not?
Let me say that every keen political observer in the country must be aware that this squabble, this crisis in the party, is because of the jostle for the 2023 presidential ticket of the APC. There is no mistake about that. And some persons in the party do not have confidence that Oshomole, as national chairman of the party in 2023, will grant them an enabling environment for a healthy competition for the ticket. And let me also add that the national chairman of the national leader of the All Progressive Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is a strategist. He's a born strategist. He's a leader I admire. He's a producer. He makes people. But then he did not insulate himself from taking sides in that statement.
What do you mean by taking sides? Because he said that those who are against Oshomole are virus scheming for 2023. 2023 is still very far away, and that they will destroy the party. But in the capacity that he supported Oshomole, he made it clear that we are in the now, and what matters is governance, and Oshomole has delivered. Do you dispute that?
But you and me know that they are in the now, but Tinubu is in 2023. Even as he was speaking, the politicians speak from both sides of their mouth.
It's an
but
assumption
let me
from
say
you.
that Tinubu did not consider all the factors that led or precipitated to the crisis before making that unfortunate statement. One of those things he did not consider was that if Oshomole is faulting his removal at world level, but Oshomole, based on the removal of the deputy national chairman of APC Northwest, Inu Abdul Kader, by his word, suspended him from the APC. He ratified his suspension by his word. A national executive member of the party removed, suspended by his word, and Oshomole ratified the suspension. Now Oshomole himself is being removed by his word, and he's saying the word does not have capacity to remove him as a national officer of the party.
Let me ask you. Let me put to you now, from that same statement that you made, what do you think prompted the first meeting slated for Tuesday, first NEC meeting slated for Tuesday? What do you think prompted it?
Well, APC as a party needed leadership. When the court of the High Court sitting in Jabi restrained Oshomole from acting as national chairman, it unfortunately did not pass the baton of leadership to anybody. And Oshomole, in his tyranny and autocratic grip on the APC, did not replace the deputy national chairman of the party, who was appointed by President Muhammad Buhari, therefore leaving a vacuum in the leadership chain of the APC, making it improper. He did not replace Mai Mala Buni, the governor of Yobe State, who was the national secretary of the party.
Now, before
his refusal to fill in this vacuum in the national echelon of the party made it possible for there to be leadership crisis. Who takes after Oshomole became a problem. So there was need for the NEC, National Executive Council of the party, including governors, president, and other the Senate president, speaker, and other highly entrenched interests in the party to come together and resolve the leadership imbroglio by instituting a leadership. Okay. And that was the essence of the meeting that was scheduled to hold today. Okay,
I want you, before I go to Victor, I want you to have it in mind that in the word of Oshomole, that is at his word in Edo State, the ESCOs in the ward are made up of 27 or 28 as the case may be. And the constitution of the APC, those ward level ESCOs have no power to remove a national chairman who was voted in by over 27,000 delegates across the country. Have that in mind.
But Inu Abdul Kader was voted in too as the deputy national chairman of the APC. Not
have that in mind. Mr. Victor, before we go to the coronavirus story and whether we should ban foreign trips, what do you think will be the fate of those anti-Oshomole in the party, since Oshomole will be presiding as the national chairman today at the neck?
Well, I think the fate of this is
MWC, not
National Working Committee.
Yes, it's an open secret. It is not even something for somebody to guess. If you are anti-Oshomole, then you need to, as him coming back as the chairman, then you need to be
so
ready.
Find a way to synergize.
No, not even to synergize. I think he's going to find a way to punish people who were anti-Oshomole at the time, because definitely that is what he's going to do. He has never shied away from any battle. He has never shied away from any battle, and it's the reason why in this present battle about national chairman, he actually took it very frontal and went to the court and then did all that he could do to remain the national chairman of APC as of yesterday, coming to this meeting today. But then I want to pick something from what he said earlier. I didn't just want to interrupt.
Okay.
Then he said that it was unfortunate that Tinubu made that judgment without considering a lot of factors that were involved in it for him to have come out to make that statement. He also said that Tinubu, who is saying that some people are sick from the 2023 sickness, he is also in 2023, then that should have let him know that Tinubu already has taken into consideration that his interests will be best protected if he has Oshomole as the APC national chairman of the party. So I think.
And why? Yes, that is it. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Victor. Do you want to react to the question I asked?
Yes.
Okay, yes. React quickly before we go into the coronavirus.
First, if Tinubu have 2023 interest and he's rooting for Oshomole's continued stay as national chairman, it means he has confidence in Oshomole. And as a party man, to protect his interest. And as a party man who is even abusing others of having the virus of 2023, why is he against others who also want to protect their interest ahead of 2023? One. Then secondly, you said the people who dragged him to court, because it was the national chairman of the party, not East, that took him, Comrade Salihu Muhammad, that took Oshomole to court. If you heard the statement of Oshomole after the Court of Appeal, you see a man that have had the reflection. I think he has been derobed of his autocratic regalia.
So what you are saying
What
now,
I'm saying is that Oshomole at the National Working Committee meeting of the party today will be a Democrat. He will want to accommodate dissenting views.
Good.
He will want to pick up from, unlearn many things that he has learned as a comrade and as a union leader. And know that the case has not finished. This order yesterday was interlocutory, temporary. The substantive suit is still in court. And it is not in the interest of the APC that they continue washing their linings in the public. So I feel APC, if Oshomole is a strategist, he would want to bring everybody on board and ensure that all these pending suits before the court are withdrawn in the interest of the party.
So do you still foresee an implosion in the APC, or what could you say about the fate of the anti-Oshomole?
As I see Oshomole now as a man who wants to accommodate others, he has learned. Okay. There is no party without crisis.
So there is hope for the anti-Oshomole group now.
There is hope for them to synergize with Oshomole in the interest of the party.
And no option of rebellion?
Well, it's possible. Politics is a matter of interest and dialogue. So they should dialogue and, play their game.
If he's going to be kind of accommodating, will he also be that same kind to his
he has said
they will reach compromise. Politics, there are no permanent enemies and no permanent
friends. No permanent enemies, no permanent friends in politics. After this short break, we'll take on the coronavirus care, whether our country, Nigeria, should place ban on foreign trip. Stay tuned.
Nigeria, largest oil producer in Africa and sixth largest in the world, is rich in natural resources like natural gas, tin, iron ore, coal, limestone, niobium, lead, zinc, and arable land. But despite this endowment, the country's growing population, while it's in poverty, while its misfortune is blamed on corruption. When President Muhammadu Buhari took over the mantle of leadership on May 29, 2015, he vowed to combat corruption in Nigeria, no matter whose org seeks gold.
Corruption is a hydra-headed monster and a cankerworm that undermines the fabric of all societies.
This was clearly indicated in the arrest of Colonel Dasuki, retired, the then National Security Advisor of President Jonathan, who was charged to court by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission over the massive scam in weapons and defense procurement that led to the misuse of 3 trillion naira defense budgets since 2011.
Amidst coronavirus scare, so many European nations and American nations have placed a ban on foreign trips, meaning that they have to curtail within their jurisdiction or within their country the spread of coronavirus from the contagious nature of it and the infectious nature as well. So in Nigeria, we don't know whether it is proper for our country, Nigeria, and the federal government to place a ban on foreign trips, since in Africa, Ghana, Ethiopia, and I think South Africa is warming up to place a ban. So the two gentlemen in the studio, this is supposed to actually be an audience participatory one, but I believe you guys will do justice to it. Now, should we take the toll of America and the United Kingdom placing a ban on foreign trips? I begin from you, Victor Tehemba.
Before we ever had any sort of emergency like this, we had closed our land borders. So now that we have a situation in our hands like this, I don't think it would be out of place if we place a travel ban. Taking into consideration that actually the 2 cases that we've had so far, we have been very able to contain them, and as a matter of fact, they have gotten well. But then in the case... The
third case occurred on the 10th, just recent, and the news got to us today.
Yes, exactly.
About a 30-year-old Nigerian that came from the UK with tested positive to the virus.
Very good. So we are looking at, there are concerns all over the world when it concerns African countries, that for the fact that some of us do not have that adequate facilities to contain this. So in a case whereby it becomes it becomes a menace like we have in Italy or in the UK or China or whatever it is, how are we going to be able to contain these people? Remember that at a point in time, we even had Nigerians stranded in Wuhan, and then we refused to go and bring them back because we are afraid of the virus. So closing our airspace as well, because our distant borders are already closed for now. I think everywhere we go, they are preaching for us to practice social distancing. And I think it will be out of place if we place a travel ban for countries that are affected by this.
Mr. Silvanus, judging from the preparedness of our country and the fact that we do not have the medical wherewithal to arrest or deal with coronavirus infections, do you think that a ban on foreign trips will help as a precautionary measure?
Well, I am surprised that our borders have been closed to importation of rice and other goods, basic necessities, for how many months now. But when it came to this case of coronavirus, a deadly contagion that has swept through the entire world, crippled Europe, and has entered Africa,
and Asia everywhere,
we are yet to have a tight security around our borders, around our airports, and they have remained porous. And if they continue like this without placing any embargo, even if they can't close everything down, they can't entirely ban traveling out and inside Nigeria, ingress and egress, what they should do is to identify these flashpoints. There are countries that are flashpoints of this virus.
Yeah, in Europe,
Italy, in China, in Iran, in all those countries, and place a ban. Let the security architecture be strengthened in in our embassies in these countries, and let it be expeditious to ensure that anybody who is coming in is clean. Like this third case of coronavirus is a case of carelessness on the hands of the government.
Yes.
Because it's somebody that came into the country from UK and who was not properly checked. Do you know how many persons that might have come in contact with her, the said lady? Let's just be happy that God is in Nigeria. If not, I don't know how we would be able to contain this virus.
He made a statement that God is a Nigerian. I have watched so many mega churches abroad closing down, even the Roman Catholic Church in Rome, the Saudi Arabia, Mecca, they closed down completely. Even the famous orator who is a gospel motivational speaker, Austin, has closed down his church per se. And in Nigeria here you see that the churches are still shaking hands, and we are still embracing the faith, which is a currency of the spirit, that the faith is also the currency of the physical. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think it's because they have not really seen the damage that this thing can do to human race. Yeah. They are not in these other countries. Now, these other countries that you have mentioned, they are in these countries that are mostly affected by this. You go to Italy, Italy's is empty. It's like something out of a movie.
Even football, bang.
Yeah, football. Now, the coronavirus has affected everything. It's like it hasn't affected us here because we had one case or two cases and we were able to contain them. We just knew of one other case, the third case, and we are actually containing that. So it hasn't gotten to us, to that our doorstep, whereby we now begin to say, okay, let us begin to take all those application measures. So we are still taking things for granted, and people do not know that even in countries where it is war torn, like in Yemen, when you go to Yemen, they have about 2 governments, and each of the governments from the areas that they operate, that they think they control, they have placed travel bans in those countries. Iraq placed a travel ban. When you go to Syria, the same thing. You go to Libya, the governments that's basically recognized by UN also place a travel ban in the areas that they know that they control. Now, if these countries are taking these measures, why are we just being so relaxed about it? Coronavirus is not something of the spirit. It's not something you can say faith is going to cure by this any means. These are things that you use your common sense, take care of yourself, and maybe hope that it doesn't this get to you. But I think right now we are not prepared as a government, as a people, basically.
All right.
Let me also add that it is in the spirit, in the character of Nigerian governments to be reactionary instead of preventive,
to be proactive.
They are always reactive. They are waiting for this thing to happen before they start running around to contain it, which is wrong.
Anyway, somebody will stop there. Comrade Silvanus and Victor Tehemba, thank you very much for today's show, for being today's show, Press Talk. And we will advise, perhaps we have to advise the FG that despite anything, we should look inward and probably close down and place a ban on foreign trips for now because of the scare of coronavirus. And as for Oshomole and the APC, let's maintain status quo. Governance is all about the people, and let's jettison politics of calumny. It has been Press Talk, and I'm Daniel Atai. Thanks for watching.